Labor Day weekend 2013. It's almost 6,000 square feet total space, and I'm not a glutton. I don't really want to use them for myself. I don't have 7 children and a wife, so I figured I'd break this thing up, and by matter of right, I was allowed to make 4 units. I didn't push BZA or anyone to try and get more than 4 units. I was happy with that amount. And we brought this proposed plan to Historic a couple weeks ago, and got a spot approval on it. They were very happy with all the ideas. They brought some comments to us about the property, which might comment on later. And basically, gave us a good moving forward of it. I love this building, but it needs to be redone, rehabbed. The original picture on the left side, back in the, I'm not sure how old that picture is, Rich, but it's either early 1900s or late 1800s.
Actually, it's about 1940s, I got it.
So you have that, okay. We have a few different ones. It's usually the doors and the gates are a little bit different, but most of the other structures are the same until, I don't know when they changed in the 50s or so to get larger trucks here, but it just, it would have a lot better as a more historic property and add more value to the
So,
neighborhood.
for folks that aren't familiar with it, just mention the
Oh, yeah,
previous
so,
use.
say again?
The previous use of the building.
Right, so it's between 9th and 10th on R Street, 9th through 1. The previous use was a gallery and workspace for an artist, Craig Kraft, who's pretty well known in the community. First thing I did when I picked the place up was picked up one of his pieces and keep it on the premises as a historic significance to his work for 26 years there, I'd say. Before that was a harpsichord maker, I think for 20 or 30 years. And then before that was the was a fire department number 7. At one point was the first all-black fire department in Washington, D.C. So the idea is to kind of throw it back to the 1880s and make the inside as much historic significance as the outside, and turn to 4 condos, average 2 to 3 bedrooms, 2 on the first floor, and then a 2 levels split on the second and third floor, and a rooftop. We're also adding 2 parking spaces in the back, 3 kind of grandfathered in the front, but we're not planning on selling the parking spaces. We're not really planning on selling the units yet either, just kind of thinking about what I want to do as an apartment building, or maybe flip 1 or 2 of them. But my plan is to stay in the property for many years, and I love this neighborhood. It took me a long time to find this place, almost 3 years of searching. I've dragged Richard everywhere. He's my architect, and he works in a lot of historic situations with buildings in Northwest DC mainly. And so that's how I chose him to be my architect and designer for this.
So, give us the 2-minute summary.
So in the nutshell, we're not adding any additional space, we're just basically renovating what's there. We are doing work to the exterior of the building, but what we're doing primarily is in the front of the building, our proposal is going to be to restore this original carriage house door look across the front. And then in addition, when we're doing the apartments, once you get down the sides of the building, there will be some additional windows put on the upper floor, as well as some modifications made to the back of the building. The rear facade is going to have some additional window openings on it. And the other part on the exterior is that we will be putting on a roof deck, but we've been working with Historic on that, and it won't be visible from the street at all. I think you'll get a small glimpse of a metal stair going up off the roof deck in the back. Other than that, it's all interior work that we're doing, basically just reallocating the space, bringing it up to code, putting in new utilities, the rest of what's required.
So it's actually a fantastic building with, how high are the ceilings in the main area, the second floor?
The second floor, right now they're almost over 20 feet right now. We're trying to bring them to about 27 feet, I believe, to the rafters.
The first floor is 17 feet.
Yeah, but the dramatic thing about that space is that it was so high because they used to hang the hoses to dry.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the wonderful fire pole feature.
Yeah, it goes up about 27, 28 feet straight from up the middle of the garage into the second floor.
There's a brass fire pole that's still in place, and every time I
Oh,
was
we're not
in that
moving it.
building,
We're not moving
everybody
it.
always wanted to say, but we can't, ride down it. Why can't we get down it? Obviously, the safety
Insurance
reasons.
liabilities.
Yes, absolutely. So again, this case has gone to HPRB. This is an information-only, presentation for any of the neighbors or constituents that are curious. The Civic Association also supported the changes. So we're looking forward to the restored building so that we've got another wonderful landmark that we can be proud of.
Absolutely.
So, questions?
Any questions or comments? Or the board has my information. If there's ever any issue with noise or anything, I welcome.
Yeah, now, the one thing I do have to raise to you is that the 2 parking spaces in the front are not actually parking spaces.
I'm aware of that.
So We can have further
Means
discussions.
three?
about it.
Three of them?
Any of the parking spaces on the apron are not.
I understand.
Parking spaces, so. But again, we'll deal with that at a later date. Thank you very much. Congratulations
Thank you.
on getting the property.
Thank you.
Lastly, we're going to have a very brief presentation from the folks from DDOT that are working on the north-south corridor study. We had asked them to come to the commission last month to have a presentation. They weren't able to do so, but they want to announce the next set of meetings, and then we will have to come back at a later date to fully brief the commission with the recommendations. So,
Good evening. My name is Jamie Henson. I'm the project manager for the North-South Transit Corridor Study. Before I go any further, I want to make sure that everybody has one of these. Does everybody have a flyer? If not, please get one. I think those commissioners have one.
we're short.
Are we short? Goodness, we'll get one more for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So what I want to do tonight is invite you to a set of meetings that we're going to be holding across the town from north to south. We have a 9-mile corridor that we're studying. We're going to have 3 sets of meetings, one in the southern area in southwest, one in the central area near Howard, one in the northern area just below Missouri and Georgia. So let me walk through just our handout. I'll be no more than 2 minutes. And just highlight a few things. First of all, you got a brief, a small map kind of giving an idea of where we're looking at doing some improvements. So it's basically along the Georgia Avenue corridor, not necessarily exclusive to Georgia, but roughly Georgia. Our study area is roughly 5th Street Northwest to 16th Street Northwest, trying to figure out how to improve bus service or improve transit service in the area to move people better and more reliably. So we're actually coming to the third in a series of 3 sets of meetings. So the final set of meetings for the planning study, we looked at looked at the problems, tried to identify potential solutions, and now we've studied those potential solutions, and we're going to come present a lot of information to the community, talk about what the potential impacts and benefits of this are, and then talk about the process forward. So we're finishing up the planning stage, about to move into the environmental stage, where that's the decision process, where we decide as a community what we're going to do. Over to the back, information on meetings. A couple things to note here. I'll let you look over places. One's at Southwest at DCRA, at Banneker Recreation Center, the Emory Recreation Center. I'll let you look at the dates. The thing to note is that we have 2 presentations at each location. We're presenting at 4 and at 7. The meeting is from 3:30 to 8:30. The meetings are meant to be drop-in. You can stay as long or as short as you want. We have a brief presentation where I'll talk for probably 15-ish minutes, give an overview, and we'll probably have 20 boards in the room where you can go around and look for yourselves at the information, talk to a bunch of staff that we're going to come to talk as many details or as few details that you're interested in or not interested in. And then probably more important than any of that is to talk about process and how we move forward. So with that, I'm going to pause. I'm glad to take any questions you may have.
Well, in the interest of time, and we do have a couple more things that we need to wrap up, and the building does close at 9 o'clock. I encourage everyone to attend one of these meetings. I have attended the 2 previous meetings. I've expressed to DDOT the concern about losing a lane of traffic or losing a lane of parking in each direction along 7th Street, in the 7th Street segment. I've asked them to look at 9th Street, at 11th Street, at 14th Street, everything else except the stretch of 7th Street that goes between Florida Avenue and New York Avenue, because it is so narrow and it would have such a significant impact on the folks that live, work, shop, play, and pray in the area. So I do encourage you to see and to register your concerns. They'll have a series of different alternatives that they develop in terms of what they could put, how many lanes of what in different places, and they really would like the input. So I think that it would be a good exercise for people to make that meeting if they possibly can.
Yes, please do. Thank you.
So we have a couple of housekeeping issues to complete, but I would like, before everybody runs out the door, for Kathy Jenkins to very quickly tell us anything she wants to share about the library here.
No, I've already passed out flyers for this upcoming activity, so
Great, thank you, Ms. Jenkins, as always, for providing the facility and the equipment for us to be able to have these meetings. We will go directly to approval of the minutes of the April 1st, 2014 meeting. Secretary Lucida, if you'd like to make a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as written, for the April 1st meeting.
So, one clarification, I've already provided, hopefully others have provided corrections to our recording secretary. So I will ask that you just say as revised,
Okay.
and I would second that. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous, thank you very much. Treasurer's report, Mr. Chow.
Sure. I have a quarterly report, and as the situation was last month, or the last time we had the quarterly report, is that the Excel program doesn't seem to be working. I had to take it to the auditor's office. I had them print it out. And I thought it was fixed, but it wasn't. So I had everything in the quarterly report except the front 2 pages, which is the summary of everything, which just summarizes what is in the report. But the report consists of the minutes, our bank account statements for the month that the second quarter encompasses, which is January through March, and the canceled checks and the receipts. So, of course, everyone is free to look through them. And because we did not have the cover sheet last month, I do need the secretary and the chair to sign it because it's lacking that. And,
Okay, so actually, you skipped the stage because you were just doing the treasury report initially, but why don't you go
Okay.
ahead and make a motion related to the.
all right, well, I move that ANC 6C approve of the second quarterly report for fiscal year 2014. That's for a second.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. That's unanimous, thank you very much. Now to the treasurer's report.
Okay, currently, which is different than the quarterly report, because this is from the end of March, but currently we have $50,199.71 in our checking account.
I move that we approve the treasurer's report for the period ending April the 30th, 2014. Anyone ask for a second?
I'll second.
So probably moved and seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, thank you very much. And approval of expenses.
So right now, we just have two, is that correct? I move that ANC 6E pay our minute taker and preparer, Karen Leverage, the amount of $125 for preparing our May meeting minutes, and also move that ANC 6E approve the payment of $400 to Miller Copying Service for our May newsletter.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. That's unanimous, thank you very much. And any announcements?
We're doing like a community walk, probably at the end of the month. I don't know the date yet.
I'd like to make a suggestion. In our newsletters, I'd like to see us at least have one little article that is, for example, people stop throwing those chicken bones all over the streets, versus listing us and every commissioner twice or wherever it is on there. I'd like to see us have something about picking up after the dogs, making sure people are reminded of these things in our newsletter, because I think I've been noticing, especially the last month or so with the weather changing, that although everybody's walking their dog and everybody's doing their thing, they're not poop scooping and they're not cleaning up after their animals. So, friendly suggestion that perhaps our newsletter needs to have something other than, Marriotta's opening, this is opening, that's opening. Maybe we need to have a little paragraph or two on something else.
So currently, we use part of the back page to talk about those issues. We've only been doing the suggestion that folks not leave any valuables visible in their cars to prevent that, but for the next couple of issues, we can do scoop your poop.
Yeah, I just think that sometimes we have to remind people to
Sure.
clean up, and, you know, it's hard for folks, especially with all the little triangle parks being closed off now for, we have more cranes and more whatever in our neighborhood than we've ever had before. There's just, people are very limited on where they can go and walk. So I'd like to see us remind, just a reminder, just a gentle reminder.
We'll do that starting next month.
Thank you.
We are at the point where we do need to leave the building, so unless anyone has any issues that they would, any other announcements they'd like to very quickly make, I would move that we adjourn this meeting.
I said it.
Probably moved and seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Right.
Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned.
What's going on? Where are you guys?
Chickpeas are real stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I was.
No, I can get out of those at the grocery store. Normally I walk over here. I almost say crazy, but I was trying to have some fun with my grandkids throwing frisbees.
Oh, no, Claire, the person who's in charge of the sit.
Get around.
How you doing? Excited.